Hey everybody, it's Bust with Expedition Trial number 493. Less than 2 weeks of these things to go, and sorry if I brought forth some confusion in regards to patches. They usually come out every 2 weeks, and it's kind of like 2 weeks from, or I guess it's like a month from the roadmap, 2 weeks since the immediately after the roadmap, and so maybe things got a little off kilter with Riot's week off, but I'd say there'd most definitely be one on the 30th, since that's the one specifically mentioned on the roadmap. And so, before we get it too into the trial, that's what I plan to do until that next patch comes out. We'll still get in a ranked video and a gauntlet video, and then we should be able to do pretty much the same uh, before the patch comes out. So, like, we've got like the 10 expeditions, whatever we said that amount was, about 4 constructed videos. The patch will come out, and then we'll be hard sailing directly into the constructed. And so, yeah, they're getting pretty close to the end. And speaking of all that constructed, we have been playing a bit of Talia Ziggs in constructed. So we'll look to draft around this incubators as best as we can. Let's get this pulled up on the site and talk about her a little bit more. And so, yeah, Talia, she has a couple of archetypes and has historically just been one of the worst champions in the game. Not so much that she's bad as much as the archetype she's a part of just don't really work in Expedition. And so she has caught a couple of buffs that make her a little better. She used to be a 2/4, now she's a 3/5, and it's a little bit more manageable. But the things that you have to like kind of call out before you get too far into drafting these Talia decks. Number one, you don't want to touch Freylord, right? The Talia plus Frozen Thrall combo just isn't consistent enough in Expedition, and it's not something that I really recommend going after. The other thing I don't really recommend going after is the Rock Bears. The thing that we really want to get out of our landmark cards are we want units that generate landmarks. That's going to be something like a is he not even in this? Not Rune Runner. Oh wow, that's incredible. Rockhopper. Rockhopper's the big one that you're looking for. That's so wild that he's not in this, but Rockhopper is a unit that generates a landmark. You're looking for landmarks that replace themselves, like Preservarium, and then you're looking for spells that generate landmarks. That would be like Roiling Sands. And so, looks like those cards just don't live here. I guess we have to look after the Zerath archetypes to find that kind of thing. But those are the big and strong ways to get your landmarks going. And so, we'll look towards that. If you've been watching some of the constructed content, the thing that you'll see with Talia is once she flips, she has that 3 rock throw thing. And the problem with that is that your opponent blocks her with a 3/3 that absorbs 2 with rocks. Then the last one goes to face for 2, and Talia doesn't get to chunk in her base attack. And so if you are able to give her overwhelm, it works much in the same way as we see with like Lee Sin, as to where she's able to just chunk through our opponents with her ability and then overwhelm the rest of the damage through. And so cards like Absolver are really strong. There is the Magus of the Unseen. Is that his name? Is that a magic card? The thing that gives out the +2/+2 to all of your champions. And so she has the way to just chunk in these overwhelms. And so otherwise, this archetype itself has a lot of predict stuff going on with it. That's a reasonable sub-strategy to chase after. I won't chase after something like Kahiri the Returned. This card is just garbage. But playing cards like Ancient Preparation, Aspiring Chronomancer are good. And then some of the payoff cards like Xenotype Researchers are fantastic. So happy enough to chase all of those down. Okay, and into the next one. Ooh, I had to check with this Teemo. He's not a Bandle City champion. It's pretty decent to get yourself into Bandle City because you can then pick up some of the Ziggs cards. There's the 1-drop that generates the landmarks, Ziggs himself, but that's not where we're going to be today. And so we mentioned you don't want to touch Freylord. We're going to stick to that. We don't want our Incubators packs coming up with Frozen Thralls in them. And so that's going to bring us back here to this Nasus, which is okay. It's not like the strongest pairing with Talia, but it's something that we can pull off here. And so and in terms of this Nasus, there's not going to be a lot of overlap between what we're looking to do. Let me get this pulled up here real quick. He's like mainly focused on getting slays, right? And so he's going to play cards like Exhaust to make our opponent's units vulnerable, and then we'll take them down from there. But the big things that we can find out of this, where we're going to get some usages, is Rockhopper does live here. This is our big unit to find. And then what we're going to try and pull off with this is if we like swing to the Zerath archetypes, you'll find units like Wastewalker. And so Rockhopper plus Wastewalker is one of the the more powerful combos that we can pull off, giving us the 4/4 unit on turn 3. And then we can also do some of that with the Talia cards. And so here in Incubators, we'll have cards like Kahiri the Student. So if you predict and play him, he's a 4/4, with the ideas that we can win pretty much any challenge as a 4/4. And so we should be able to get some of these exhausts and rock hoppers going with 4/4s on turn 3, and giving us a pretty powerful set of board control cards. And so with this, we are just mono Sharma at the point. I am going to be on the lookout for Bandle City. I still would like to pick some of that up for Talia here, but coming out of this pack, I'm just going to go with the good units. Merciless Hunter, Rampaging Bakai, both extremely strong. I'm not really amped about cards like the Preservationist, and so I'm just our hope and dream here is we just don't mess things up too much by not taking the landmark cards. Here, coming out of this one, there is a Golden Ambassador. That's a pretty tempting take. It means passing on a Rock Hopper, though, which is our just all-around most important card to pick up. But this is a pretty strong allegiance with a good predict unit attached to it. And so I'm just going to go for it there. Coming out of this one, this is a very strong pack with the Shapestone and the Rock Hopper. Looking pretty good to me. Okay, and so we missed out on the Bandle City. It kept just trying to give us all the Shadow Isle. Shadow Isles everywhere, not what we're doing. Down here, the Chimera is trash. The Sandscrafter is off theme, so we'll just go with these medium quality 4-drops. Okay, all right. Well, we are getting kind of like more of a Slayer's deck as opposed to a Talia deck together with these Golden Ambassadors, but the Rock Hopper is what we have to be taking out of this. It still plays to theme with her. We're just not picking up a lot of the landmark cards. Here's the big combo, though, right? This is perfect. Perfect with the Rock Hopper and the Wastewalker. Okay. You can do similar things with the Hierophant. It's not a 4/4, but being a 3/4 works out quite nicely. This all looks pretty good to me. We are getting farther and farther away from the landmarks. I don't know if we're going to be able to flip a Talia, but this is still going quite nicely. Rock Hopper, Ruthless Predator. Okay, it starts to be tempting to pick up the Rite of Callings, but I think we've kind of like pushed ourselves more into this mid-rangey kind of board control deck. Excuse me, I wouldn't be surprised if we're able to say like pick up another Golden Ambassador and then like ideally pivot to Renekton. And so we could look to do this big champion kind of thing. And playing into that, I'm looking towards the Safecracker and the Bakai. Just gives us another really strong set of combat-oriented champions. And see, like this here, this is the first set of good like landmark cards with the Endless Devout. He works fantastically with Talia, but these predict cards are just way too strong to pass up at this point. All right, well, how many Rock Hoppers is too many? We can get up to 5. That's pretty decent. I'm looking to just switch to like the Rite of Calling, but we don't have any of like the Spell Slay kind of stuff. And then we also don't have any like generated sacrificable cards. It doesn't seem that great. So let's go with number 5 here. Here, I immediately saw the Kahiri, but I think I just want these cheaper plays. The Salt Spire is never a pick. I think we're good in terms of vulnerables now, right? We have the 5 Rock Hoppers along with 2 Merciless Hunters. The Sand Spinner, Merciless Hunter don't add that much to our deck. Okay, and the last one? Oof, there it is. There it is. That's what everybody's here for. Nice. Nice. All right, so you all know what time it is. We do have to go and turn something premium. What the hell are we doing? Here we go. Get the right ones. Let's see what's available. Shurima only. So much premium. We've gotten all of the units? Good. Go us. We don't have any of these spells. Obelisk of Power we didn't manage to draft, so we're on to the rares. I don't think we got... Oh, we have a Preservationist. It's not exciting in our deck, but I think it's our only option. We didn't draft any of the Naturalists, and we saw like one Xenotype Researcher, but didn't take it. I do love the Xenotype Researchers, but today is the day for the Preservationist. Do we even have a landmark in our deck that has Countdown? Oh, yeah, shit, we got the Sun Disk. Oh, man. All right. This could be it. This could be the day where we flip a Sun Disk. We haven't done it yet. I've only seen it done once. We just kind of let him do it, and this could be it. That would be so choice if we're able to get the Sun Disc going here right at the end. Maybe opponent's doing it as well. He has the 2 Ascended Champions. We don't have that, but man. Oh, we have one. Nasus is Ascended, right? Talia is not. Boom. Sun Disc. Where's it at? Cupcake. I wonder if he's going to drop one as well. That would be so choice. Nope. We tried for it. The Hierophant ready to go. Ready to boost the Sun Discs. Yeah, this is so good. This is so good. Perfect collection of combats here. You can see this board control Shurima coming together. Tick it down. Alright. A little unfortunate. I was hoping to get a better safe, like a safecracker kind of play out of that. We could have waited till next turn and made a safecracker play, but it ultimately feels a little slow. Oh, I don't know. We probably should have just let that damage come in and then taken the safecracker hit here. It's tough? Why do you have tough? From the hothead? He just immediately drew this? That's pretty good. We'll go for the kill if he's going to block the Hierophant. Nope, he's got a Shapestone as well. Okay. Still looking pretty okay. I would have liked it a little better if we had the safecracker kind of doubled up attack, but I think this is still fine. You're only a 3-3? Feels like we've already done so much combating. You should be bigger, Nasus. Oh, he doesn't hit our Sun Disc? What are you thinking, my dude? Oh, we're gonna get him. Gonna get him. It's so awkward with the Hierophant being like our only good block onto Azir. Okay. Well, as the board gets this big, I do feel a little bit better about that Rockhopper block now. He's definitely further ahead than us on board. We got to do a bit of work, try and get some value trades the next turn, but oh, nice. Not what I was expecting.
We love it when they run.
Did we just come out here and try to get a bunch of trades so that our Nasus gets to grow? I think that sounds decent. None of this really feels like it's worth taking down. I mean, the Azir we clearly want to try and take down. I think it's we probably want to hit him with the Merciless Hunter. This is tough. We have the Ruthless Predator in hand. I guess the card I worry about is Scrying Sands. Right? If we do this and he's Scrying Sands, he gets out of it. But we have the backup Ruthless Predator. But it's a tough Merciless Hunter to give up since he has all these four health units on the board. Okay, that worked out.
Go get the shiny
Is whatever the most expensive one. Golden Ambassador, that'll work.
with the power of what is it for you?
Let's double up our Sun Discs with Talia. Here come the combos. Here come the combos. Only a 4-4? Jeez, Nasus, we've done so many combats.
I get the gods,
Pretty big Talia. 5/7 should be good on this board. Curious if he takes the Vagabond hook onto the Chronomancer. I'll definitely take down the Bruiser if we get the opportunity.
Leave it. This one's a fighter. We found out.
Okay. That's how you get your Nasus to grow. What are you up to, my dude? 8/8? That's pretty big. What you got? +1/+1? It's bigger than Nasus. The Bakai. Not enough to take down the Rumpy Rock Bear, but we might be able to get something post-combat from him.
Keep your eyes on the
Let's lead with Talia. She's never going to flip. She's got the most stats of what we have in hand, and she has a reasonable-ish attack into the Rock Bear. If we get to trade for his big unit, that looks pretty good. And then if we can go into next turn and do... Fuck. Well, there goes that plan. I was going to say, if we can go into next turn and get, like, the Bakai trade onto his Rock Bear, that would all be pretty strong, but... This is not awesome. At least we didn't lose our Nasus in the process, but... Oh, so close. So close, Sundisk.
There's the alarm.
Alright, so we'll add the Bone Crusher, another unit that can take down the Rock Bear. We'll look to Bakai the Waste Walker away. Hopefully this keeps going well.
Hello, world. I'm Cypher.
I was not so mercy, I will not grant it.
Got one card in hand to worry about. I think we can probably play Nasus into attack next turn. This Slay will get him up to 10/10. So he'd get the flip after that. He dies to a Shaped Stone, but he can survive these other combats.
We enter an age of men and gods.
So where do... Okay. So where do we attack with our Nasus, right? We can attack with him to the left. That gives the rest of our units better combats, but it doesn't help them not lose any of these combats, right? And so he should probably just attack to the right. And so if something goes weird, we might get a Slay on this 2/4 to get him out of Shaped Stone range. Now it's different though. He can put the 3/1 in front of our 4/3. So we'll want to get the strike before it can block. Oh no, this is so scary. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So lame. So lame. At least, like, we're super far ahead on board, but we were so ready to do the cool stuff.
In this timeline, we're sure to save Acacia.
Oh, I did that thing again where we predict, and I think I'm just immediately going to draw it. I wanted to get the drain. I think we're still fine here, but could have been way cooler. And Renekton. Alright, well, he has to block our Bone Crusher. Okay. Guess he doesn't know that he has to block our Bone Crusher, but we get the kill this way. So close to being awesome. Alright, so ideally, a Renekton would turn up. I feel like we'll probably see an Azir, maybe a Xerath. It would just be a bit of a disaster if like Zillion turned up, a non-ascended champion, and for the last one, perfect. A Renekton with a Siphoning Strike. Looks good, looks good. Alright, on to the next one. So yeah, if I disappear, don't show up again, I'm going to I'm going to be running some networking through the house, running some Ethernet cables through the wall. I haven't done that in, I don't know, 20 years. And so typically it would be just kind of whatever, but this time we just put wallpaper up on the walls and now I'm about to cut holes into it. And so if I disappear, I may have gotten murdered. Wallpaper related murder coming up. We'll see. We'll see. And if I'm back to getting the daily videos going, then you know everything's fine. We'll have to see some of those joys of the home ownership. But it is frustrating in that out in Kansas City we have the Google Fiber everywhere, and getting shitty Wi-Fi speeds when you're getting gigabit internet, and looking to fix that. It's not going to be a problem anymore. And so hopefully it'll go well enough. But back to the action here. This is a bit of a bummer. We didn't have any plays until turn 3. We got boomed by the Mountain Goat immediately, and now he's coming at us with Soraka and team. And so don't have a lot of good plays here. Well, the Callous Bone Crusher is a good play, let's be real, but it's going to take a bit of recovery for us to get back into this. If he only comes at us with the Mountain Goat, I'll Shape Stone through this one. We just can't let him generate infinite value off of this goat. Gotta remember this is a Slay. It's like everything nowadays deals with your opponent's units being able to deals with your opponent's units being able to or dealing damage to your opponent. We played so many like Nars and stuff these days, so we'll have to remember how that actually works. But here, if we can trade both of our champions for his champions, that would be pretty cool. I don't think he's gonna like completely take us up on the offer, and I'm hoping that we get to perhaps follow up with a Siphoning Strike. Now, this does have some potential problem to it. If he has like the double +1/+2, then we just lose the game. If he has a removal spell, it's fine. Not ultra worried about. Well, I guess we're ultra worried now. This is a good place to be ultra worried. He's just gonna re-heal all the way back up fully. And we can throw down the Weight of Judgment on one of them. Who is the more important unit to take down? Probably Leona. I mean, who knows? I don't really know what the fuck this guy's doing, playing mono Targon with Pantheon and these collection of champions on board. It seems like he's trying to do Pantheon kind of things. And I think I'm just going to take down the Soraka. This should help like get us a decent Siphoning Strike, right? If we take down the Leona, and then he's able to like attack with Soraka and heal across the board, and there's a decent chance that the Siphoning Strike just doesn't get to hit. Whereas I feel a little bit safer with this now. I'm just going to play our most expensive unit. He doesn't have strong combats against the Preservationist. He can gem Leona and attack with her and try and trade, but I don't think that seems super appealing. Now, the flip side of the coin is I don't think he's playing a Leona deck, and if that's what it takes to just get the board cleared up, he's probably fine with it, but not going well. Oh boy, just tricks everywhere, huh? 3 ticks up onto Pantheon. Okay. Alright, my dude.
Would you look at this place?
Let's look at this place, Rockhopper. Ugh, this is gonna be brutal. So we got on the front side we got taken down by combat tricks at every turn, and now on the flip side we're gonna get taken down by the expensive cards out of his hand. This is gonna be problematic. Let's start off with the Siphoning Strike. Get to maybe take down the Leona. It should be tough for him to have like a reasonable spell with that. And then I want to start drawing cards with the Ruinous Path. We have to get something going. Oh boy. That's his third Invoke. I can't imagine how we win this game that doesn't involve being like, oh, here's a level 3 Renekton or something, right? We might be able to pull off something with the Sun Disk, but we are getting extremely far behind. Invoke number 4. Do you remember when this was the most frustrating aspect of the game? when invokes were just a little too good. Now they're out there buffing all the invoke cards. None of this is what we want. I guess we can take the Chronomancer and try and pick up something a little better. All right, let's be real with this one. Let's be real. let's just take the upper right strategy and move on to the next game. I should have maybe stuck with it so we could try and flip our Sun Disk, but that game was not going to be a realistic win. Here, I'll pick up the Spirit Fire. These Preservationists, like, we don't have anything to target except for the Sun Disk, and then the Spirit Fire is a nice AoE removal. We have, like, decent removals in terms of combats, but we don't have decent removals in terms of interactivity. We just have the one Siphoning Strike, and so it can be quite useful, especially as we run into Bandle City as the draft progresses. All right, on to the next one. Oof. See if I don't hurt myself adjusting. Got to worry about dying to wallpaper, dying to adjusting my chair here. Let's see if we get number 494 together or not. But make it there quickly if this trial keeps going this way. That game did not go well. Trying to really pull off this rock hopper into something kind of curve and not having the rock hopper is really painful there in the early game. But kudos to opponent. They dispatched us handily. All right, the next one begins. All right, Zerath, Azir, Leona. This is a different dude. He actually has Shurima Targon in here. I don't know whatever. It probably picked up some kind of landmark card out of the Targon. But we found our rock hopper. Let's see if he can find a friend to go along with him. This is what the typical problem with Shurima rock hopper based decks is, right? You get the rock hopper on board, the opponent plays the thing, and then you can't actually win the combat, right? You need that's why I tried to place a big emphasis on like the Esteemed Hierophant, the Waste Walker, the 3-cost thing that grows when you predict. I don't think he's showing up. I thought we picked up one of those. But the big thing you don't want to be happening with these Slayers-based decks is like playing Rockhopper and trading, playing Merciless Hunter and trading. You're just never getting ahead when you do that. Now that's where big boys like Renekton come in and let us win some challenges, but that's where we're on the watch. Now this is slightly awkward. I don't want all of our rock hops to get blasted by Emperor's Diaz tokens, and so like I'm curious what happens if we just pass here. I think this is okay. If he just sends it back to us, like if he ever wants to attack with the Diaz, he's gonna have to play a unit here. It's a ship bust. You boomed me with your mad science right there. He has his own rock hopper. Okay. So we'll do this. We'll play our rock hopper. We'll hook his. And now if he plays an additional unit, we're ready. If he wants to get his Diaz going, he's going to have to play a unit that's going to get rock hopped. Now we're more in line to just start slamming with Renekton, right? If we get a vulnerable unit on board, we get to hit with Renekton and then maybe have a safe cracker attached to it. All looks pretty good to me.
My faith protects me.
Where I go, carnage.
Okay, I will block a token with the Renekton, if that's what this turn comes down to. And the Bomber Twins. Sure.
Devotion through battle.
So this definitely brings out a Sand Soldier. We get to block with Renekton. That's going to get him up to 4. And then next turn, we're looking to make a safe cracker play to get the flip.
These little scamps will burn you to the bone.
Let's see where that gets us. He's going to be like, herder, it's a sunburst. That's the appropriate noise people make when they play Sunburst. You gotta drop a herder on it. Oh, interesting. What kind of shenanigans is this guy into as to where giving the Bomber Twins is the play? The Bomber Twins now trade with the Safecracker, which is fine. But really surprised he didn't add a unit here. Shouldn't be too many spells to worry about. Alright. Get that lizard on the big side. Need another one. Need another. Get this sun disc going. There's no place for savagery in the new Shurima. I agree. I agree. The Talia is not an ascended champion. There's not a ton of value in actually picking her up here. So do we want like the slower option and the Chronomancer where we can fix our draws a bit or just take the Safecracker? And coming into the next turn, I think we just want the Safecracker, right? We're going to have... where are we at? 8 mana, so we could potentially play Safecracker and Bone Crusher, then follow up next turn with a Siphoning Strike or something. Or I was looking to combo the Siphoning Strike with the Safecracker. Maybe we can get that going a couple turns from now. I think this is all looking pretty good.
Bestow the desert's power to the faithful.
I'm ready to get bloody.
Your emperor commands.
Look at you.
Gotta have some kind of trick. Well, I guess he doesn't have to. He's generating a lot of Sand Soldiers out of this. Shapestone number 1, okay. Interesting. So they don't... There's no ways in Shurima just to, like, deal damage to Renekton. He had to be, like... I don't get that, right? If he's trying to get stats in front of Renekton next turn, then that Shapestone doesn't seem super useful. He needs a 4-attack unit to just straight up kill him. I was looking to maybe do a Siphoning Strike. Right, we were having this... Oh, Weight of Judgment. Okay, that makes sense. I guess there is a way to deal damage with Shurima. Something like a Spirit Fire. But no, that's fine. All right, Sun Disc, you've given us some tempting options this trial, but you're about to just get blown up. I'm sorry.
Katina, you gotta see this new board. Little busy now, Sammy.
That should be a lethal.
This girl is
We hook a Zier with the Bone Crusher. He blocks the 5 attack thing with the sun, whatever this guy is. And we're getting in with all of these units here to the left. Neg 3. I didn't even need the Oracle's Eye. I did that math all on my own. Okay, so what are we going to do with these? I'm okay with picking up the Boomerang Blade for the Ruinous Path, I do believe. Gives us a little bit more interactivity. Gives us another strike for these Renekton's we're going to be working with. A strike for Nasus. I think it's fine. The Ruinous Path, it's just a little bit tough to pull off. It's nice to have the cycling kind of cards on occasion, but I think this Boomerang Blade is just better. So, okay. So, yeah, the important cultural things of note. I've just finished off Peacemaker. I thought that was a delightful television program. I typically don't go for the DC type stuff. I'm never like really impressed with DC. It's like I think Superman's just dumb. Like there's never a point you're watching Superman where you think he's gonna like lose or fail, and so there's just never tension when it comes to Superman. I'm not that interested in it. The Green Lantern stuff has been some of the worst stuff I've ever seen in my life. The Green Arrow and the Flash are dumb. I was okay with the Christopher Nolan version of Batman. The other ones I'm not like really amped about, although I do intend to go watch the Robert Pattinson version here soon. And so I've always just been a Marvel guy, and I've always preferred the X-Men to the Avengers and the like. But whatever, that's where it's going. Was I kept my expectations real low, and it did manage to exceed expectations, and so it was a nice little show. We'll come back to it. Got a new game starting up here. So, reasonable enough start. I don't think we can ever pull off this thing to where we rock hopper into the Naturalist, and so we'll go ahead and get rid of her. But we do have some pretty powerful combats we can do with the Chronomancer being able to win a lot, and the rock hopper getting to kind of force some of their early faded units into battle. I think this is okay. Playing against Yuumi Pantheon, right? Got our Sun Disc. Gonna bring your unit, bro. You have the turn one faded. That was wild in our previous video. I didn't even realize it until games later when we had to go against a wounded White Flame. It's not a unit you see in Expedition. He's not in any of the buckets. You have to trade into it or generate it. And I forget how the person managed to pull it off, but we definitely ran into one. Here, I'm just going to trade with the Yordle Squire. I was looking to... well, there's kind of like two things with this, right? We're never going to get tons of value out of these rock hoppers since we've drawn 3. And so I'm kind of okay with just throwing them away at this point because it's not going to do a ton. And the unit that I'm like really interested in getting into combat here is the Chronomancer. There's a decent chance we get a good hook next turn with the Chronomancer. I'm kind of worried that he's just going to like bait into it. Right, we play the Chronomancer and he plays like a 3/3, but I think it's okay. We'll snatch up the Siphoning Strike. We have a pretty big board here. Okay. We'll circle back to you, my friend. We're not done. We're not finished just yet. Varg's gonna make a meal out of him, dude. Look out. Alright, are you bringing it? Are you coming in for the attack? We'll block. You know, we'll get a Siphoning Strike at some point, but I think I'm like reasonably okay with it this turn if he just spends like a bunch of spells on this dude, and then we get to try and take it down next turn. This is all good and well. Now, I guess we have to say, do we want to try and Ruthless Predator this down? Right, he's only got access to 1 mana. He shouldn't have any ways to give it bonus health. And I think this is okay. Right, I don't really want to wait until next turn for him to come out and have like combat tricks at the ready.
Sun's beneath me and wind's behind me.
How many summons do we got? If we play our cards right and wait 2 turns on Rockhopper plus Talia, then we can flip her.
Can be undone.
So I think I'm pretty okay with. We just get to bank 3 this turn. We have some decent removals in our hand. We're only losing out on 1 mana. I think this is all good. Get those 10 ticks down on the Sun Disk while we're at it. that's the important part.
Cast off your fear and stand as one.
With the power of time, the
All right,
possibility
try and pick up the Nasus. I'm looking at just like blocking Pantheon with a unit to potentially take him down into Siphoning Strike range. He's getting close. How bad is it if this Siphoning Strike fails, right? I think it's a pretty good chance it fails.
don't touch it.
I think it's like we have to play it this turn, though. We're just never going to have the opportunity to do it. He's already picked up the Fated, right? He put Tiny Spear on it. Well, I think this is a pretty low chance of success, but we also... Oh, so choice. So choice. But we also just don't have a ton of options in what else we can do, right? If we're, like, definitely going to drop this Rockhopper, we're going to drop Talia on the open next turn, we're just not going to find anywhere to fit that Siphoning Strike in. Shit, our board's full. I missed that. Well, Nasus is huge. I was thinking we were going to have the space to add the additional landmark with the Talia summon, but counting to 6 can be fairly hard. I don't know how you all master it, but it's tough for me to do.
See what I've learned?
Okay. Let's see how this goes. I mean, he does have a little bit more mana than the last time, but if he didn't have an answer to our the Pantheon, then that doesn't feel like super safe here. He can definitely be in a world where he just has a handful of expensive stuff. Now still feels pretty okay. We should be able to drop a Talia, copy the Sun Disk. Oh, that fucking card. Oh my god, I hate this thing so much.
These little scamps will burn you to the bone.
Alright, well, I guess we'll go about it that way.
Speed.
Such a dumb card.
I say.
Okay, plays the Flight over Gem. I'm curious if he attacks with the Flight. Does that mean that he can stop our open attack? There's a ton of ways to get around it. All right.
Keep your eyes on the horizon and your
Right.
feet on the ground.
Oh, god damn it. All right, I was kind of counting on our Talia to flip. Is what it is. We can still, like, Merciless Hunter this dragon, and I do suspect the kind of place that he's in right now is he's just got a handful of, like, 6 and 7 drops, and he can probably only play 1 unit this turn. So I do feel, like, a little bit better in terms of just getting a unit on board and then just being able to get a kill here.
Gonna find a gift for
Should have put the vulnerable on the other one. Still, if he blocks our 2 bigs. Fuck, we're 1 short now. God damn it. It's so bad. The rainbow fish got us. This is frustrating. I had a trial I did before this when I felt like I got a little bit too salty losing to rainbow fish as well. But okay. I think we still gotta bring it. We're in a space like this. He blocks our 2 big ones. He loses his charger. 1 damage short. I don't think we have a way out. We need our we need our drain back. It's ultimately frustrating. I do not like that Rainbow Fish exists. It's one of these cards, we've talked about it quite a bit. I feel like if the lead dev never left, then it would have just never become an issue. Because Riot historically doesn't let these elusive kind of cards into the game. You don't see cards like Ghost and Expedition, you don't see Intrepid Mariner. All of these cards that pass out elusive to units that shouldn't have it. It's basically limited to Fey Guide, and it's not something completely reusable like that stupid card is. But on to the next one. That has been done. I don't think any of these trades are worthwhile, and so let's just go ahead and skip over that. But we only have to play 7 more of these things after this, and so I guess we can just deal with Rainbow Fish for another week and then never play Expedition ever again. It's just a 100% not fun card. I don't know why it needs to exist in Expedition. I ultimately worried about cards like it, and basically not all of the attached cards. Like a lot of the abilities aren't like 100% ridiculous. Like giving out quick attack isn't that bad. Yumi isn't that bad, just giving stats. But when you pass out evasion, or when you pass out double strike, or when you pass out overwhelm, those are the big ones. I was really surprised that they put both evasion and double strike into their initial iteration of attach. Now, granted, this isn't a game like Magic to where you print it and then you're just fucked, right? You know, you're playing Magic cards, they make something in paper, they can't go, oh, well, attach was too strong. We have to errata basically every card ever made. And so, you know, if it turns out that things like Rainbow Fish were too good and constructed, they could be like, well, it's going to cost 6 now. But they never balance anything in the terms of Expedition, and so it's just, you know, stuck here. It's here literally forever. Well, I guess literally for another month and a half, but the way I describe it, like, now granted I am no game designer, no game developer, but the way I talk about cards, say like Troop of Elnix, is when does this generate a situation where both players are having fun? And I feel like cards like Rainbow Fish never generate that. But we're moving on, and so how do we feel about this board? I'm kind of looking at doing a little bit of everything. I want to drop the Rockhopper here so we can interact with whatever his next unit is, and then we can try and Ruthless Predator down Azir, and hopefully just have a big board control here. I'm not really sure what this guy's trying to do, playing Yetis and Azir, but our board is looking strong. See if he's got that Brittle Steel to shut down our play. Not sure if there's a place in that previous game we could have sequenced it a little bit differently to just get a Talia summon. Yeah, I guess if I counted up the board right, we may have found a space to where we could have copied the Sun Disk and then overwritten it with our units in hand. That would have been a reasonable place to go back and kind of reanalyze, if you will. But ooh, either way, it doesn't make Rainbow Fish any more fun to play against. That card is just fucking dumb. The intern, you can write that down. I'm sure there's still the expedition intern out there. He's probably got to switch to a new team. You can take those notes down for when you all make draft version 2.0. This is not a fun card to play with in limited formats. This is AoE. He's gonna full AoE our team. It's Ram stance out here in the middle, right? Boar stance? Oh no, okay. Make the big ash. Okay. He's going to attack, right? I'm looking to add the Bone Crusher. He's just going to get hit with the... We've got time here. Things are going to happen. We'll play the Bone Crusher at some point this turn, but doesn't have to be right now. Okay.
Show me a target.
Now, do we actually have to block this Ash? Like, I like the aspect of being able to go wider than this thing. Like, what if we want to pivot? Just take the Ash damage, play Talia this turn. The next turn we play both Chronomancer and Bone Crusher and try to get a big attack through. I think that's pretty reasonable. This is a little worrisome against Freylord Noxus in that they can have a bunch of overwhelms. But I think this is okay. Still have our 1 mana for the Scrying Sands. Something exciting to do with it. But Ash does have the hook on her, so we could potentially just throw away our worst unit, currently the Chronomancer, and then slam in for a bunch. The other, well, she has Regenerate. I was going to say the other option is potentially, potentially just like putting a little bit of chip damage onto Ash, but I don't think that's going to be strong enough here. Right, she's just going to regenerate it back. Okay. Boomerang Blade plays to us keeping a wide board. I think this is fine. Here comes the Bone Crusher. This dum-dum's a little awkward, but I think it's okay.
I turn it like so.
Like threading a needle.
Like threading a needle. So he's probably going to put like Soothsayer on our Rockhopper. If we play the Scrying Sands, it is going to overwrite our Predict, which I think I'm okay with. I'm not super upset about missing out on Boomerang Blade. I like the idea of Boomerang Blade. You know, getting a 2-for-1 while we're going super wide on this guy. But I'm not going to be, like, mad. Not going to be mad if we don't get it. Especially now that this Ash has Spell Shield. Maybe we should have just overwritten it anyways. Gonna have to double check. I think it still works. It just cancels the one on Ash and then the smaller unit gets killed. Oh. Well. That's not a particularly juicy target for a Boomerang Blade. Turns out this does not die to 6 damage. Why is he coming in with the Clockling?
Stand back.
Okay, I feel safe enough. If he has a combat trick to try and punch in damage, we do still have a Scrying Sands to try and get through it with. That's kind of awkward. We're not lethal, we're just at 1. I think we probably have to Scrying Sands anyways. I don't want to just get killed by a like 1 damage thing from opponent.
To our future. An auspicious season.
All right, so do we just go for it, or do we play the Renekton? The Renekton feels like fairly safe, but he does. There's like a couple of things, right? This does give him the opportunity to play like a Shatter, which would be unfortunate. I think we just have to like win. We have to win this turn, and if we're gonna win this turn, what's our best way of going about it? Now, we do have 11 mana. Here's the bonus to adding Renekton, right? We can put him down. Then we can Boomerang Blade to get one unit. Oh, fuck. That was the downside. Can we get out of this ever? Let's see, what happens if we play the Boomerang Blade? Coming off of Renekton. So it kills the small unit. The Ashe just gets her spell shield popped. Then we go into next turn. He's just going to be able to frostbite out our whole board. God damn it. So, I mean, our other option is, well, I don't think the Spirit Fire is going to do what we want. Takes her to 2. Yeah, gets spell shielded. Okay. Ah, man, what a bummer collection of games. That one's kind of on us. It's just the amount of mass frostbites is low, right? I feel like we have to win the game that turn, then we have the opportunity to both play Renekton and kill another unit. And so if his hand is just units, then like we're still good. We just win the game, right? But we lose that game to like Brittle Steel, Harsh Winds, Flash Freeze, Three Sisters, like the entire list of Frostbite cards we just lose to if we open, if he has a Whirling Death, like any combat trick, all of that stuff we just completely die to. Now, the cards that, you know, can potentially shut you down would just be your slow spells. So if he has like Reckoning, or if he has Winter's Chill, or the Icy Yeti, of course, that we just got to see there, then you're running into a bit of a problem. And so kind of is what it is. I still think that is the play in terms of adding the Renekton to the board and then playing the Boomerang Blade to kill another unit. It's just he had one of the answers that completely aced everything. So, yeah, man, that was an unfortunate run. I was hoping that we would get to flip the Sun Disk at some point before our expedition career is over. Looks like that's not going to happen. A little unfortunate. And yeah, this one winner we have up here as well got knocked out by fucking Rainbow Fish. I was a little salty about that one as well. And so, man, I guess before we go, the recap I'm not really that into doing anymore, but I did mean to finish the chat onto Peacekeeper. And so the things that were interesting with that, had we managed to make it through the rest of the way, were James Gunn, the writer and director. His brother, Sean Gunn, was in the Gilmore Girls. And so if you watch the Gilmore Girls, I think most of those characters are completely abysmal. I hate most of them. I think all of the main characters are just absolute shitty people. One of the characters with redeeming qualities was Sean Gunn's character. He's the dude that just has like all of the odd jobs in the town. He was never skeezy. He was annoying, sure, but shitty person, not so much. And so there was that. John Cena was wonderful. My expectations with him, they're typically about as high as they are with The Rock, which is pretty low. Now, that doesn't mean I don't love them, right? Dwayne The Rock Johnson is fantastic. He was great in Ballers. Love him in all of the Fast and the Furious movies. He's kind of carved out that niche for himself and does it pretty well. Now, with John Cena, he is starting to make the moves into mainstream acting. He's had a couple of cameos along the way, but I think the Suicide Squad roles were his first real big deal kind of things, and I thought he just crushed it. It's it's easy to discount him as not being a fantastic actor. You're not expecting him to be giving you a Pacino in a Scorsese movie type role. you're expecting the level out of John Cena, and I thought he just fucking crushed it. It was fantastic. And I thought a lot of the other characters in there did quite well. I thought the Vigilante was wonderful. I thought everyone was doing pretty good. I was trying to think if I had any other hot tidbits from from the peacekeeper, the peacemaker, whatever it was. I thought I had something for the racist old man, but I can't remember what it was. It's slipping me now. But that is going to do it for us today. Looks like we do have a reward to click on. People don't get that too often. 200 shards and an epic capsule. That's where we are. Okay, so that is going to do it for us today. I hope everyone enjoyed the trial. I wish you many successes in your flipping of the Sun Disk. We've been unable to do it, but I do believe in you. I hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.